How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another edition of The Opinion. And hot off the press, something that I've known at least for a couple of months now was probably coming down due to Rick Glazer, who's the first person that I heard talking about this, but now it's been confirmed. It's everywhere. It's been put out by Paramount Global, the owner of Showtime, and that is Showtime Boxing is now exiting, or Showtime is now exiting the boxing business. It's been around since 1986. So 1986 to 2023, at the end of 2023, Showtime will no longer put on boxing fights. They will now follow suit with HBO, who stopped putting on boxing fights. I believe it was at the end of 2018. And now Showtime is now following suit. And all I have to say is that this is a sad day in the sport of boxing, because in my opinion, after HBO left, Showtime was the best out there when it came to production. They had the all access. It wasn't as good as 24/7 that HBO had, but it was pretty darn close. And I felt like Showtime actually put on some good fights. Now, some of this is the PBC's own doing with fighters laying off for months at a time, for them not putting on some of the fights we wanted to see. I think Showtime and PBC tried to give it. I think they tried to put their best foot forward in 2023 by actually giving us some of the fights that we actually wanted. You know, with Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, we had Benavidez versus Plant, and then of course we had, Errol Spence versus Terrence Bud Crawford as well. But at the end of the day, I think that this is a sad day for the sport of boxing. I think it was Mike Coppinger who was kind of the first one to kind of put stories out of ESPN, and he said that PBC is now seeking a new home. They're in discussions with either DAZN or Amazon Prime. Me personally, I would hope that it goes over to Amazon Prime. I know a lot of people want it to go over to DAZN, but I mean, you look at DAZN is $24.99. I think Amazon Prime is about $14-15, so a lot more convenient for the boxing fans out there. And plus, a lot more people already have Amazon Prime because of, you know, it's just Amazon. You know, a lot of people order from Amazon. A lot of people have it for you know, Thursday night football. So if it goes over there, you're already going to a spot where at least there are a lot of subscribers. Now you'll just have to pull those subscribers in to viewing your programming. Whereas if PBC goes over to DAZN, although DAZN already has Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy over there, I feel like you're going further and further away from the casual boxing fans. And that's really what boxing needs. Boxing needs to revitalize its casual base, because if boxing had its casual base, then, you know, boxing probably would have never left HBO and or Showtime now as well. So, like I said, I think that this is, you know, not a good day for boxing. Like I said, I personally like Showtime. I think that they had the best production, you know, and one thing I want to say for the people out there that says, you know, that Showtime and PBC was not putting, you know, on good fights to compete with DAZN and ESPN. Well, the question I have to ask you is what fights are DAZN and ESPN putting on? You know, I actually used to be subscribed to DAZN before it cost $24.99, and this is when Canelo Alvarez was over there, and then also Anthony Joshua, which I think Anthony Joshua is still over there as well. But at that time, DAZN was putting on a lot more better fights. What good fights has DAZN put on lately? I can't think of any. And then ESPN gives you some good fights every now and then, but I don't think ESPN does the best job of promoting their fighters at all. So to me, a lot of this PBC and Showtime thing, a lot of people to me are just hating, because at the end of the day, DAZN and ESPN do not put on a better product, and they don't put on better fights than what Showtime has given us over the last 5 to 6 years as well. But like I said, the one problem I do have with the PBC guys is that they'll fight, and then all of a sudden for 14, 15, 16 months, you won't see them, and then they'll come back and fight again. And I think just in a world where people want things now, and you always have to kind of stay on the top of people's mind, you have to be a little bit more active than that. Otherwise people just forget about you as well. But at the end of the day, with Showtime exiting and PBC was the one holding up Showtime with all their fighters pretty much fighting on Showtime, and Showtime pretty much having nothing but PBC guys, where would you guys like to see the PBC land? Would you like to see him land with DAZN? Would you like to see him land with Amazon Prime? Or would you like to see him land somewhere that maybe nobody is talking about yet? Although that's probably a slim to none chance that it goes to a third source that maybe nobody's thinking of yet. So let's just stick to DAZN or Amazon Prime. Where would you like to see PBC land next, DAZN or Amazon Prime? Or and then also let me know down in the comments, what do you think of this news of boxing or Showtime getting out of the boxing business and following suit with HBO? I mean, who would have ever thought, 15 years ago that HBO and Showtime would both be out of the boxing business? But hey, that's the world we live in. And so at the end of the day, subscribe, leave the comments below. And other than that, I'm out.